which knew the times, for so was the king's manner toward all that knew law and judgment. And next unto him was Kashina, Sethar, Admitha, Tarish, Merez, Marsina, and Mukan.
Now, there's a word there that got my attention. The wise men which knew the time. Why must the writer just write which know the time? What time do they know? They're not just a lawmaker. Among them were astrologers, people that read the future by looking at the stars, by looking at the sun and the moon. Like, remember when Pharaoh had a dream, and he called all the dream interpreters, the astrologers. If you remember also, during the time that Moses went to Pharaoh, and he says, let my people go, he threw his rod down, and the magicians that are in the king's palace also took. The Bible used the word magician for them, but they are astrologers. Every king in those days always have them. The reason why they have them is like David have Nathan in his cabinet, because Nathan is a prophet. Because these kings are not, most of them don't believe in God, so they believe in all these idols. And they need someone who can speak to the idols, which is where these tarots and card readers, all of you that are reading cards on the Amazon and buying cards and reading, you're destroying yourself. So they are the one that knows the time. They're the one that is able to tell what's going to happen. That's why you see the word the time there. Just for a brief understanding. Yes, keep going.
13 continued. The 7 princes of Persia and Media, which saw the king's face, and which sat at the first in the kingdom. 15. What shall we do unto the Queen Vashti according to law? Because she had not performed the commandment of King Ahasuerus by the chamberlains.
Here is where I have a problem with some people that say every wife that despises their husband the wife that do not reverence their husband must not be allowed in the house. I am against that. A woman shouldn't have a problem to reverence before a man who is leading in truth. It's not these days that we have women who wants to lead their man just because of your certificate. Don't do that, because you will lose that man. You cannot marry your certificate. You cannot. There is an argument there that becomes very serious, that this thing that we just read now took them almost about more than 30 days to come to deliberation. Do you research? It's not something that takes them a day. You don't think something like this take a day. No, they don't just come up and make that law and say this out. No, we're going to have to go and think about this. Let's just go. The Bible makes us to understand this as if it's something, because if they write everything in details like that, they will not have what we have. We have volume 1, volume 2, volume 3 of the book of Esther. But the important one were written. It's just like the story of the prodigal son, that the Bible says that the father began to talk to him. One Hebrew writer says when fathers talk to their children, it's not 1 day, it's not 2 days, it's not 3 days, because they're trying to convince them. I said, listen, where you're going is wrong. And in some cases, they bring relatives who will still speak to them. And please, I want you to understand, in this time, it was not the time of internet, where you can FaceTime with grandma. No, it's not. They don't have that at the time. And because they don't have that, that's why. So what the Bible is saying here is that after long deliberation of what they are going to do, and they then said, let's get rid of her. Because if we let her lead, she's going to be a bad example to the rest of the women. This is the beginning of the dethronement of Queen Vashti. But I say again here, never in any way should we compare a bat, although it's all in the species of bird, to eagle. Bats sleep with their heads down all night. Eagles sleep with their head tucked in their wing on top of a mountain. The comparison of Esther and Queen Vashti is not the same. I know you will argue with me. What if I tell you that Queen Esther was actually supposed to be the wife that should have been married to from the beginning? Because if it was not so, the marriage of Esther or the relationship of Esther and this king wouldn't have lasted long. But Esther knew what made the first one fail. She learned by it. By the rules. You're going to come out some things that I'm going to stop in between, and it's because when you read, you don't pay attention to that. Like the time that I just mentioned, I'm sure not too many people will pay time to that. Just really, that's it. They know the time. Keep going.
16. And Memucan answered before the king and the princes. Vashti the queen had not done wrong to the king only, but also to all the princes and to all the people that are.
When you humiliate the leader in presence of people, you not only humiliate that leader, you then say to that leader he's not qualified to lead. When you talk to the man in front of his children rashly and anyhow, you're not only ridiculing that man, you're ridiculing his authority over his children. The same thing if you do that to a woman. So this is a correct measure that should have been taken, but they came so rash. I felt bad that most of you were not in the service of today that we had at 9 o'clock. The same thing that we go through now that the Egyptian go through and the Israelite go through in the hands of the Egyptian, you would have known how systematically we have been taken off the chart.
16 continued. Vashti the queen had not done wrong to the king only, but also to all the princes. She has
laid a bad foundation for all the princes now that if we don't stop this, this is going to be destructive. We gotta stop this. And how are they going to stop it? Read.
And to all the people that are in all the provinces of the king Ashur. 17. For this deed of the queen shall come aboard unto all women, so that they shall despise their husbands in their eyes, when it shall be reported. The king Ashur commanded Vashti the queen to be brought in before him, but she came not. 18. Likewise shall the ladies of...
I am against this. Totally against it. Because they are talking about the offense. They're talking about the offense, but they're not talking about what makes the offender committed the offense. It's happening here. Switch that off for a second.